Hello and welcome. Good morning. You're watching Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now. I am Snehisha. With me is Cheryl D'Souza, and this is a show where we'll be taking you through all your viewer queries. And viewers keep writing to us on the number that will be flashing on top of your screen, and we'll be taking you through all your queries and giving you a view. Our guest, rather, on the technical and the fundamentals front, will be giving you a view on what you should be doing with your stock-specific queries. Before we delve into that, let's take a look at what the markets are doing, because Cheryl, it's turning out to be a pretty good day of trade for us once again.
Absolutely. In fact, we are bucking the cues that we actually got, Snehi. Very good morning to you. If you look at the global markets, yes, you had the US markets that actually declined in yesterday's trading session. It ended lower, but we are here actually now charting the course towards the day's highest point. When you talk of the benchmark indices, take a look at what Nifty Bank is doing at this point in time. It's trading higher by about 0.8%. It is actually outperforming the benchmark indices in today's trading session. Advanced decline ratio, a very great picture coming in for the advanced decline ratio, given the fact we are very much skewed in the favor of the gainers as we speak. Only limited number of losers when you compare it to the advanced decline ratio, that is. If we talk about the list of losers, then it is IT that is taking a bit easy. TCS, Infosys, the Tech Mahindra, HCL Tech, they are the top losers on the Nifty at this point in time, given the fact that yes, there are a lot of talks about what the tariffs are going to do to the US economy, how the US economy is likely to be hit on back of that. And that's also one of the reasons why you're seeing IT sector actually under pressure, given the fact that if the US economy is not doing well, doesn't bode well for the IT sector. So you have IT sector that's under pressure in trade today. While on the flip side, you have Shriram Finance, Tata Steel, Apollo Hospitals, Adani Ports, IndusInd Bank, all of them holding on to good gains. Bajaj Finance today is also seeing gains of about 2% or so. On the sector front, no point for guessing. It is the defenses taking it easy, with the IT index slipping about 1.6% or so, while you have the FMCG index also seeing a shade of red, while you have realty once again bucking the trend, 2% uptick for realty index, 1.8% uptick coming in for PSU Bank. The broader markets outperforming the benchmark indices, second day on a trot. So that's the way how the markets are looking like at this point in time. And yes, we've reclaimed even 22,900 mark on the Nifty, Snehi. So good, almost 1,000-point recovery coming on Nifty from the recent lows.
Absolutely, looking very good. The 22,900 mark is a number that's looking very good, and 23,000 looks like it's achievable in the near future rather than further. But on that note, let's welcome on board our guest for the day. We have Hemant Kapadia joining us on the technical front. He's a technical associate at DR Choksi FinServ. And we also have Shahina Mukaddam, independent analyst, joining us for a fundamental take on a bunch of stocks. Viewers, remember, before we start taking the queries, remember to keep writing to us on the WhatsApp number that's flashing. Be very specific about the stock that you are asking or you want a view on. If you already hold this stock, then how many quantities, what's the quantity you hold, what's been the time frame, and what's the exact question that you want answered. Or if you are thinking of buying a stock, then what's the holding period you're looking at. Be mindful to include all of these in your queries, and we'll start addressing them beginning now. Let's take a look at the queries coming in, and Shaina, we'll come to you first. The first query is coming in from our viewer Parag Visaria. He's writing to us from Mumbai. He's asking if now is a good time to accumulate HUL at the current level right now. What's your view on the company, and what you feel about adding HUL to our viewers' portfolio?
HUL, I think over the medium to longer term should do better because rural is picking up. But at the same time, I think it is better to wait and buy it at slightly lower levels. The levels I would prefer would be closer to about 2000, 2050, and then you could hold it for the medium to longer term. So buy it at dips.
Right. A very good morning to you, Shaina. Good morning to you as well, Hemant. Thank you so much for joining us. And this one is coming from Reema. She's writing to us from UAE. And she has Birla Soft, about 100 shares at a price of 553 rupees per share. She wants to know whether she should add, hold, exit. She's a long-term investor, but given the fact that Birla Soft with the rest of the IT pack is also under pressure, what's her take, Hemant? What should she do now? It is sub her buy price.
A very good morning to you, Cheryl. Thank you for having me on the show. It's always a pleasure. The entire IT index has moved up for 4.5 years, Cheryl. It's been a phenomenal move. The index has moved into correction of a greater degree. The soft is a mid cap, so it's been affected more. So I believe it's a sell on bounce. A hold is only if the investor's time frame is 2.5 years or more, because I don't think IT makes a new high in this calendar year. Doesn't look like long-term oscillator, their signal across oversell. So what we would see in terms of the market would be a recovery, not a rally.
Okay, so that's the view on that stock. Let's move on and talk about the next query. Shaina, this query is coming in from our viewer Venkatesh, who's writing to us from Hyderabad. Two stocks in question, TCS and Reliance. He's been holding 100 shares of TCS at a buy price of 4,120, which means right now he's seeing quite a loss on that holding. And Reliance, he holds 1,000 shares at 1,520 rupees per share. His question is, what should he do? Because, of course, losses is what he's facing in both of his holdings.
Well, he's got very good quality, high quality stocks. These are portfolio stocks, and I would say that you wait for any dips, corrections, and then you can actually average. TCS, of course, he's bought it at a slightly higher price, but I would say even current levels, if you're going to average, maybe don't buy all together. You stagger it over the next 2-3 months, and then you can average it and hold it for the long term. See, the overall IT index is going through some corrective phase as of now because of the US. We are not really sure how it's going to work out in terms of tariff on services, in terms of the visas, etc. So, to an extent, please wait. Don't average now, but you can average it maybe a month down the line when there is further clarity. Reliance, of course, you could again there, average at any dips, because as we know, GRMs are going to look a little better, and oil prices are stabilizing. So there again, because of the overall market, the condition in which it is, and the overhang of various factors, especially the US tariffs, I think it is better to wait and buy it at dips and corrections over the next 1 to 3 months.
All right, so that's the take coming in on those counters. Let me take this next query coming in from Subramaniam, writing to us from Secunderabad. Wants to know about BSC, 33 shares at an average price of 5,126 rupees per share. Should he hold or exit? What's your take on this one, Hemain? BSC, definitely one of the bets that everyone is betting on, given the fact that if capital market grows, so do these counters also actually stand to benefit. BSC, a hold?
I'd say a hold, Cheryl. I'd agree with you totally. But there was a range between 6,000 and 5,000. It has broken that. So on this rebound, 5,000 will be a tough nut to crack. The longer term charts still seem to suggest positivity. Hold.
Okay, so that's the take coming in on BSC. Shaina, coming back to you. Our viewers writing to us, Miss Nirmala is writing to us. Her query is now a good time to make a fresh entry into ITC hotels for the long term? If you have to play the hotels pack, would you rather prefer something like an IHCL, or do you believe that ITC hotels has merit to be a compounder over the long term?
Well, see, I personally have added ITC hotels over the last 2-3 months. So I definitely believe that there is a value over here. I think there is at least a 20 to 25% upside from here going forward, given the fact that they are likely to look for nice tie-ups. They've got a very good hotel chain, and I think valuations are much more attractive than ITC hotel than Indian hotels. So as of now, I think ITC hotels is a good buy. You can buy it, hold it for the medium to longer term.
So that's the take coming in ITC hotels. On that note, we'll slip into a break on this edition of Buy Now Sell Now. When we come back, continue taking all of the stock related queries. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now Sell Now on ET Now, show where we get to answer for all of your stock related queries. We have our experts today, Hemain Kapadia as well as Shaina Mukaddam with us. And let me continue taking your queries then. And this next query that I have is coming in from Reema, who's writing to us from Mumbai, wants to know about certain banks, actually small finance banks. Is it appropriate to buy small finance bank at this point in time, Shahina, and any of the small finance banks that make to your list?
No, I would prefer that instead of buying a small finance bank, because see, there we are seeing some increase in net NPAs, stress on the books. I would prefer buying some of the larger banks. If you want to be in the large bank, private sector, maybe ICICI Bank, HDFC Bank, Federal Bank also looks decent. Or then you can look at some NBFC. Gold loan finance NBFCs are looking good as of now. So you can actually look at either Muthoot or Manappuram. Manappuram, in terms of valuations, is more attractive. So you can take your choice. I think both are looking good at current levels. And otherwise, I would prefer sticking to the large cap.
The large cap is the call coming in from China. Himen, coming to you. We have a very query coming in from our viewer Ekam Baraya. Mr. Ekam Baraya is writing to us from Hyderabad. He's holding 125 shares of Tejas Network at a buy price of 1,266 rupees per share. He's asking if he can start averaging. He wants to keep this stock for a minimum of 1 year. Do you believe it's a prudent call? And what do you think of this stock and how is it looking right now? He's got it at 1266. The stock is at 702. Do you believe there's a chance for averaging or should he just book losses and exit?
Hi, Sneh. Good morning. I believe there is a chance for averaging. Downside appears limited. We need a swing low of 651 somewhere in March 24. And now we've tested that same low. I believe there's a slightly short to medium term view. The downside appears limited. We posted a short term bottom. A medium term turnaround is around the corner. So one can buy some more average. If I can request him to extend his time frame from 1 to 2 years, yeah. Otherwise, he can sell some of these. He can buy now, and I'm not sure that's advisable for an investor to trade like this, but then he can sell some at 940. Hold for a period of 2 years more.
Okay, so that's the call on Tejas Networks. Hold for 2 years more is the call. Shaina, coming to you. Next query is coming in from our viewer who's writing to us about Vodafone. That's the stock in a question. And yes, this viewer is Mr. Tinku Bala, who's writing to us from Punjab. He's holding Vodafone Idea for a long time now. He's asking for your view. Now, just today we've heard a lot of news, the 5G launch in Mumbai, the talks with Starlink, lots is happening with Vodafone. Today the stock is holding up decently, but what's your view when it comes to Vodafone Idea?
Well, Vodafone Idea, the balance sheet is extremely stressed out. There is positive news. They are launching 5G in Mumbai. But I would think that, getting subscribers is going to be tough for them. So I would say that it is better to switch. You could switch to a large cap if you can. Something like a Reliance, which has come off, something even like a Bharti. They look much more attractive for the medium to longer term.
Okay, and Shaina, I'm going to stay with you because the next query is on Interglobe Aviation. Now, today, of course, their analyst meeting is happening. We've seen the highlights coming from their presentation, wherein they've maintained their outlook for 600 aircraft by FY30. So, the growth outlook is looking very solid when it comes to this company, at least based on what they have informed the exchanges about. Our viewer Smita Vikram is writing to us from Bangalore. She has bought 25 shares of Interglobe Aviation at a price of 4,135. The stock is 4,921, almost 5,000 levels. So she has made a profit on her holding. With a short term view, could you suggest if she should continue to hold or book profits at the current price? Shaina, could you take that one? Okay, I believe we have snapped that line. Let's take it across to Hemen. Hemen, what's your view on Interglobe Aviation? How's it looking on the charts?
View is positive. The viewer has a short-term query. So since it's a short-term query, I say book profits around 5,000 levels. If it's a slightly medium-termish view, wait till 5,400. Looks good. Breakout is coming in. Technically looking sound. Consolidation almost done. Indicator supporting the move. It's ticking all boxes. I suggest to hold from a slightly medium-term point of view.
That is on the technicals. Shaina, we'll come back to you and give us your fundamental take on what Interglobe is looking like.
Well, I would say that it is better to take your profits, at least take part of your profits, because there is a lot happening in terms of the global, there is a lot of there is oil prices. We are not sure where it's going to go. We are not going to be sure of what are the charges that, are going to be increased for airline tickets. There is a lot in the air. So I would say take part profits.
Okay, take part profits is the call coming in from Shahina for Interglobe Aviation. Let's move on. And Hemen, coming to you, our viewer Mr. Partha, who's a senior citizen from Kolkata, is writing to us. He wants to know the prospect of Tata Technology in the next 6 months to 1 year. He's holding 148 shares bought at 992 rupees. Should he continue to hold or should he sell? Because 992 is the buy price. Stock is at 657 right now. It's quite a significant loss coming in for our viewer. So should he continue to hold in hopes for a recovery or just book his loss right now?
There's 1 year of data, Sneh. probably not enough to take a medium to long term view. And after a brief flutter after listing, it's been down in the dump. So can I toss this question back to Shahina, because I don't have enough data to process for a medium to longer term point of view.
Would you have a view on Tata Tech? What's that looking like to you?
I would say it is, better to invest if you're looking to invest in some other large cap. We discussed TCS. I think TCS in terms of valuation, in terms of growth, in terms of opportunity looks better than Tata Tech over the next 1 odd year. Tata Tech is pretty expensive despite the stock having corrected for such a long period of time. So I would say you should switch.
Okay, so Switch is the call coming in for Tata Technology, preferably to a larger name like something like a TCS is the call coming in from China. Hemant, coming to you, our viewer Sanjeev Sinha is writing to us from Lucknow. He has got Nestle. He's holding Nestle at a price of 2,538 rupees per share. He wants to bring down his average price, which means he wants to start averaging and buying more at current levels, because 2,200 thereabout is where the stock is right now. He's asking, is this strategy a prudent one? Should he, start initiating this whole averaging process right now?
I think he can wait a bit. It looks nahi as if some more downside is built in. The entire FMCG pack is reeling under pressure. So I would suggest 2050 and 1950, two levels where he can do this averaging part, because I don't think we're out of the woods just yet.
Okay, so that's the outlook on Nestle. Shaina, coming back to you. Interesting query coming in from our viewer, Mr. OSN Reddy, who's writing to us from Hyderabad. He's holding 30 shares of Hero MotoCorp. Now, today we're hearing some negative news flow when it comes to this company. He's sitting at a 22% loss compared to his buy price. He's asking if he should hold, exit, or average. What's the strategy?
I would say you should switch. Switch from Hero Moto to Bajaj Auto. I think in terms of growth, in terms of opportunity, Bajaj Auto is looking better, while valuations may be slightly more expensive. I think they're doing much better in terms of overall new launches. So it's a switch.
All right, so that's the take coming in on Hero MotoCorp. Let me take this next query. In fact, there's so many queries actually pouring in constantly. Let me take this one coming in from Megha from Mumbai, and she wants your view, Hemen, on Bharti Hexacom. I'm actually unsure if you can give this a call on this one, given the fact that you will have a limited chart history. Can you give a take on this?
Uh, yes and no, Cheryl. I'll give the take, but with a caveat, like you said, limited chart history, but make do with whatever we have. Moving sideways, no directional bias. Range is between 1240 on the downside, 1600 on the upside. And this range has been there for almost 5.5 months. So anything has to happen. It needs to give a close above or below these levels. So as of now, it's in no man's land.
The take coming in on the technical front. Let me come to you, Shahina. Let me get your view actually coming in on Bharti Hexacom. What's your take on this one? Viewer is wants to know for the medium to long term, good time to buy this one.
Yeah, I think valuations are pretty interesting. It's got a good hold in the two circles in which it is present, and the opportunity for growth is good. So I would say yes, it's a buy. It's a buy at current levels also if you're a medium to longer term investor.
Okay, so that's the take on Bharti Hexacom on both the fundamental and the technical front. But on that note, we'd slip into a very short break. Viewers, keep writing to us on the WhatsApp number that's flashing on top of your screen. And on the other side, we'll begin addressing all your queries once again. Hi there, welcome back to Buy Now, Sell Now. Before we start addressing all your queries, once again, viewers, remember to keep writing to us on that number. 865-797-4571 is the WhatsApp number that you can reach us on with your stock specific queries. And remember to mention the stock, the query that you have, the buy price at which you purchase the stock, the quantity you are holding, or if you wish to inquire about a certain stock or want our experts view on a certain stock, please mention the name of the stock and the holding period that you are looking to hold that respective stock for. But on that note, let's keep it going once again with all your viewer queries. And Himen, we'll come to you first. The next query is coming in from our viewer Nikhil Sharma from Mumbai. He's 23 years old. He's holding 10 shares of Infosys at a price of 1,974. He's facing a loss right now, is what he's saying. He's asking, should he go ahead and book loss or buy again, average his holding and hold for the near to long term? What's the view on Infosys today?
Slightly repetitive, Snehi, but he can buy at 1540 and sorry 1540 and 1500. He can sell these back at around 1700, because the way I see it, after 4.5 years of an up move, Infosys IT stocks have entered a corrective phase, and going nowhere. So once again, 2.5 years holding or more, then it's a hold. Otherwise, it's a buy, average, sell on bounce, buy again later, because I believe over a period of time, Infosys has the technical possibility to be sub 1350.
All right, that's the take coming in on Infosys. Has the indications that it could be sub about 1350 is what you said, or around 1350.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, sub 1350, but over a year's time.
Okay. So that's the take coming on Infosys. Let me take this next one coming from Rohan, wants to writing to us from Pune, wants to know about delivery. 1,500 shares of delivery at a price of around 360 rupees per share. Shaina, advisable to add some more of this in the portfolio currently, delivery?
Yeah, it looks interesting. It's a concept stock, of course, and it looks like things are looking much better going forward for delivery. So I would say yes, you can keep adding at dips though, but it looks like a decent stock to hold in your portfolio for the medium to longer term.
Okay, so looking like a good stock, and go ahead, a thumbs up coming in from Shahina. Himen, coming to you, this query specifically come for you from our viewer Rajiv from Mumbai. He's bought 800 shares of BEL at 250 rupees and 1000 shares of L&T Finance at 140 rupees per share. What would be the medium term targets for both of these stocks, BEL as well as L&T Finance? And he's asking how are these stocks looking on the charts?
Okay, BEL is in a long-term uptrend, is in a long-term correction, and in a medium-term up move. I don't want to confuse the viewer, but simply put, 3 years or more is a very clear hold. Anything lesser than that, it's in a consolidation phase. If you're looking for a few months, stock is looking positive. So a target from a slightly medium-term point of view for BEL would be around 315 to 320. L&T Finance, on the other hand, if I were to take a longer term view, it's very clearly in our bull market. Yes, we have entered a correction of a greater degree. Stock goes from 60 to 195. Expect some time price retracement. That's what is happening. So if you have a slightly longer term point of view, I think it's a strong hold. You can probably add a bit more. Support comes in at 130. A 2 year plus target would be 200 plus.
All right, so that's the take coming in on two stocks, BEL as well as L&T Finance. Let me take this next query then, and this one is coming in from Reshma Bhatia. And she's saying in the current financial year, she had some short-term capital gains. And so to offset these gains, she recently booked short-term losses in NTPC, PFC and REC. Now, Shahina, she wants to know, since the markets are showing signs of revival, is it advisable to go ahead and buy these set of counters again? What's your take on that? Do you think, yeah, it's a good move that you can go ahead and buy REC, PFC, NTPC at these prices, given the fact that there has been correction in the market? They've also seen a correction from the elevated levels.
Yeah, I think it's a good move. And she's booked her losses. That's a good tax planning, I would say. And she can look to add back again REC, PFC. I think REC looks good at current levels. I would prefer these two over NTPC. So you can add one of these two and hold it for the medium to longer term. They're the valuations. Despite the stock, I mean, if you look at a 3 year period, it's had a very good up run and then a correction from there. But at current levels, the valuations still remain attractive. So you can go in for REC or PFC.
Okay, so that's the take. REC PFC looking good right now fundamentally. Himen, coming to you, our viewer Arnab Banerjee from Kolkata is writing to us. His stock in question is Tata Steel. He's saying how far will the growth in Tata Steel sustain, and will it be a good level to keep buying right now? He's asking for some price targets on Tata Steel in the future, and also on the fundamental front, we've seen news flow of the protection in terms of the duty coming in from the government at 12%. on certain steel items. So that way today Tata Steel is doing well. But on the charts, from a medium to longer term outlook, what are the levels that you are spotting for this stock?
Firstly, the longer term outlook is positive. Metals look good. Even precious metals, though they moved up a lot. But metals as a sector, if you look at the Nifty Metal Index name, looks good. In fact, it was one of the first sector indices which showed that the market is going to bounce back, and it led the move. I mean, it's leading the recovery in the Nifty. Now, having said that, 170 is the resistance level for Tata Steel. The next level comes in at around 184, which is its all-time high. Support at 153, 141. Everything is hunky dory, but in a market which is just sort of recovering from a 4,500 point fall, stock is already up 20% from its low. So not a very comfortable level to buy fresh, but yeah, longer term picture does look positive. On a decline, I think it makes sense to add.
All right, so that's the take coming in on some of those counters. Let me take the next one. Coming in from Ramki from Delhi. Wants to know about Aavas Financiers. 80 shares at a price of 1,724. Bought it as a play on the PM Aavas Yojana, actually, Shahina, for the long term. But the stock has gone up substantially in the past few days. Wants to know any reason that could be one of any reason that could actually have led this sort of a rally in Aavas Financiers. And also he wants to know that is the Aquilo's acquisition of Aavas expected to substantially improve the growth in the share price? What's your take coming in for this particular counter?
Yeah, I would say that I would use Aavas Financial only as a trading bet as of now, if you're holding it. As I mentioned earlier, I'm not too comfortable in terms of valuation with, these NBFCs which are smaller. I would prefer private sector banks. And if you're holding and you're making money in Aavas Financials, I would hold it, but hold it with a, stop loss. I would give a stop loss of close to about 1,820, and then you could look for a target of 1,920 maybe, and book your profits at that point in time.
Okay, so that's the take on Aavas Financiers. Hemen, coming to you, our query is coming in from Mr. Gaurav, who's writing to us from Bangalore. He wanted a view on BEL and HAL. BEL, we've already got your view. He's asking, can he buy HAL today for short term or wait for a dip? What's the outlook?
Well, can buy, but a small caveat name. Stock, I believe, has already moved 20% in the last 3 weeks. A lot of PSU stocks, electricity, defense, banks, a lot of the PSU stocks are looking good. So for today, I'm not sure. For a slightly shorter term point of view, one can buy with today's low as a stop loss for a target of 3,800. But like I said, a 20% move from the low. So I would be slightly reticent about getting too excited in the near term. Bigger picture, at least a medium term picture looks promising.
Next query that I have has a couple of when written in it. So this one is for you, Hemen, from Krishna, who's writing to us from Chennai. One, when can Krishna look to buy Maruti Suzuki? When can the viewer look to buy HCL Tech as well as Tech Mahindra? So big when. When do you think? Is it possible, Hemen?
I think right now buying a Maruti car before the 4% price hike kicks in is a better idea. But anyway, that's on a lighter note. Maruti downside appears limited. A recovery is around the corner. If I take a slightly bigger view, Cheryl, it's gone nowhere. It's stagnated. It's moved from 4,000 to 13,500. Gone nowhere in the last 6 months. I don't think it's going anywhere in the next 6 months either. So expect some more consolidation. The Tech Mahindra part, like I said, I am not very convinced about IT in this calendar year. Having said that, a recovery, I am not denying, because nothing goes up or down one way. Tech Mahindra has virtually fallen off a cliff from 1,800 to 1,400. So a bounce cannot be ruled out, but looking at a technical setup, I'd be more comfortable buying it at 1150. But don't expect these things to happen in jiffy. This is a 12 to 15 month point of view.
Okay, so that's the take coming in on a couple of those when stocks. Hope that answers your query. Let's move on, and the next query, Shaina, is for you. Our Mr. Gururaj Prakash is writing to us, and he's holding LIC, and he's been holding it since the time of the IPO, and he's facing losses right now. He's saying, should he continue to hold in hopes for a recovery, or just book the loss and exit his entire holding?
I would say continue to hold and wait for a correction to average. I mean, he's losing money, so I wouldn't tell him to average at current levels. Probably you could average when it is close to about 700, and then you could hold for the medium to longer term. I would say that they are looking to expand even into health and through acquisitions maybe, and it would expand the overall reach. So I would say continue to hold LIC.
All right, so that's the take coming in on LIC. On that note, thank you so much, Hemen, as well as Shaina, for joining us on the show. Truncated queries because it is Women's Wednesday, and my colleague on the other side of the break, Kavita, will be in conversation with an interesting guest to talk about Women's Wednesday, how women investors can look to invest, make wealth, build wealth, and create good corpus for themselves. So we'll take a break on this edition of Buy Now Sell Now when we come back with a special edition of Women's Wednesday. Don't go anywhere.